Loretta McNary Show, and it must be dealing with relationships because we have my favorite co-host with me. Dr. Sid is here, and we have a question that we're going to ask him. But first, we're going to take care of a little information about that the workshop on the 31st. Yes, because I think that's going to be dynamic.
It is. We had a great time. First of all, I'm glad to be here. Good to see you.
You too, darling. You too.
Yes. We had an awesome time the first time that we did the Help Me Manage My Life session, and so we have another one coming up May 31st from 9 a.m. to 12 noon.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about relationships, love languages, the dynamics of communication, all of that good stuff, and we're going to talk about parenting skills, how to parent from toddlers to teenagers. We're going to deal with all of that.
Okay, we can't wait for that. So you can go on his Facebook page, you can call the church, and you can get information, but I trust you, you're going to want to be there. You're definitely going to want to be there.
901-624-2424.
That is the easiest number.
Yeah.
Say it one more time, though.
901-624-2424. Just call, and if no one answers, leave information.
And I know you want to go get your pen and paper, so we're going to tell you that number again shortly. So let's talk about, I have this question asked to me, and I get this question a lot. Why do good guys like bad girls?
Ooh.
And of course the reverse too, but let's talk about the guys first.
Well, why do good guys and good girls like bad guys, bad girls? Well, I believe it's a combination of things.
Okay.
You've heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat. Sometimes people are curious concerning the opposite of their nature or of their value or of their experiences. And so sometimes it's just a curiosity thing. They just want to see what it's like to be on the wild side or to date someone different or to experience something that's different from their norm.
Okay.
And they can mistake that sometime with attraction when really it's just curiosity. And so they enjoy the moment, but the moment does not make a lifetime of pleasure, because at the end of the day, even though opposites might attract, there must be some type of commonality or some type of similarity that keeps that bond together and keep it tight.
Okay. I don't know, because I know young people have that same phenomena happens, you know, whether they're teenagers, it's like the good girls like the bad guys like the good girls, and you know, reverse. And of course, when we're as an adult. And I was trying to think, have I ever did that? I guess I probably did, but it wasn't like he was a gangster or a banger or anything like that. He was just different. He was different.
And that's the key. He was different.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need that. We need those differences. And that's why I'm a very big proponent, Loretta, of dating and dating around. Now, when I've got to be careful when I say that, because sometimes people attribute certain definitions to certain terms, and that's not what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
When we talk about dating around, I didn't say sleeping around.
Yeah, and that's a big difference.
It's a big difference. When you're dating around, it's two people meeting together, and they're pretty much looking at similarities, differences, and enjoying the moment. Both of them are agreeing to enjoy the moment with each other. And so I think that you need to have a myriad of experiences when it comes to that, so that you can really know what you like. Because sometimes we think we like a particular thing and we don't really like it.
It just sounds like the thing to do or the end thing. Because I can see, I like how you said we think it's attraction when it's really just curiosity.
It's just curiosity.
Wow.
And then sometimes, and on some levels, it could be a particular attraction, whether it be testosterone or whether it be estrogen, whatever the case. But even from a physical standpoint, sometimes the bad guys or the bad girls have a particular presentation. And that presentation, it could be sexual in nature.
Yeah.
It could appeal to a particular aspect of our life that we want to experience. Because all of us, well, let me put it this way, because I'm trying to make sure I watch my words here. It's good to be freaky without being a freak.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good to experience your sexuality, to experience many different areas of your life without putting yourself out there, and you're doing it with everybody.
Yeah. See, that's where people mess up. I think that is like the major problem. And we've said this when we first got started. There's a huge difference between going on a date and dating.
Right.
and courting and dating and then being in a relationship.
Yes. Yes, very big difference. When we're going on a date, we're just checking things out. Two grown people enjoying each other's company, enjoying conversation, seeing what they see and experiencing what they experience. But when you are dating, then, and especially when you're dating a particular individual, you have decided to become exclusive and you are exploring the relationship.
Both parties have to agree to that.
Both parties. Oh, you said a mouthful right there. Both parties. Not just one assuming, but both parties. And the ladies, and I say this with love, but the ladies really need to hear what the gentleman is saying. Because if he's not saying that you are an exclusive couple, don't assume that you are an exclusive couple. You need to let it come out of his mouth.
And then watch his actions and her actions too.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
See, that's really critical. That's really critical. And I kind of want to jump the subject now because I know during the workshop that's coming up on the 31st, you said we're going to talk about parenting.
Yes.
And so I really want us to talk about that too because that is also a relationship. So that's what this is all about, relationships.
Right.
I hear a lot now lately about parents still parenting their adult child like they were still little or teenagers, and they just feel like they gotta. It's almost like you're still trying to protect them, especially when it comes to finances. I hear a lot of them say, well, I got to pay their rent or I got to pay their car note, and they're doing it so they can keep them from coming back home. But at what point do you allow them to kind of figure that out on their own?
Part of our job as parents, we've got to teach and train our children how to think, how to process, how to feel, how to be responsible. I don't want to give away all the material today, but no, seriously, we must train them how to think. And sometimes parents, especially when they're young, they do all of the thinking for the child. And when the child gets older, they don't allow the child to be responsible for their own thoughts and the consequences that go along with their own choices. And they're still trying to rescue them, thinking, well, I'm keeping them from coming back home. No, actually, you're keeping them from having a home. Ooh,
you're handicapping them, is what I say.
Yes, you are. You are you are severely amputating them from being able to empower themselves to have a fulfilling life.
Yeah, and my sons think that I overparent. I got to tell you, they do. And I think it's just me being a mom. It's like if they're over, I said, like it was storming, a few days ago, and I was like, please leave early. And this is my 24-year-old. Please leave early. Watch your speed. Please slow down. It's wet. The streets are wet. He's like, Mom, this is not my first time driving in the rain. And I was offended because I'm like, okay, I'm just being mom, though. I'm not trying to... at least that's not my intent, but it may come off that way, that I'm over-parenting. So where's the fine line? Because I still have a responsibility, I feel, to, to warn them.
Well, the older the children get, a couple of things they need to remember. Number one, I will forever be the child. No, regardless of how old I get. I will forever be the child. And in some instances, I will forever be the baby, okay? But there comes a time where we're going to always, you said there's a fine line. We're going to always cross the line. We're going to do that because, that's what mothers do. That's what fathers do. We want our children to be the best, to experience the best. And sometimes, because of our experiences and because of what we have learned along the way, we have a tendency to step over there and to try to get them to go a particular way because we have been there. But it's important for us to remind ourselves, our children must learn. And sometimes the older they get, the best way for them to learn is to experience it themselves.
So do you think that if you know that your child is financially struggling, that you should continue to bail them out and let them lose the house or lose the car to teach a hard lesson? Or do you think you should, or is that dependent on if you think that they were irresponsible and got in this situation, or they're going to always do it because they know you're going to always bail them out?
It really depends upon the child. Whatever you do, you want to push them towards being empowered to learn the lesson of fiscal responsibility, to learn the lesson of self-control, and to learn the lessons of planning and goal setting and those things. So if that involves them losing the vehicle, as long as those goals are met or we're going toward that particular direction, then fine. But for some of them, it might be, no, I'm not going to allow you to lose it. I'm going to instead take the car from you, pay it, but I'm also going to pay for you to maybe go to some Dr. Sid classes or some Loretta McNary classes to learn how to become fiscally responsible, budget plan, etc.
See, that's good. And I often want, my kids are pretty, and I have boys, well I have men, and they're very, very independent. And I guess guys have this wiring where they always gotta be the one to take care of it financially. And I'm just very grateful for them. You know, one will never ask for help. Well, two will never ask for help, but one will ask for help if he needs it. And I admire that because he can get that from me because I do without, but I love that he's like, you know, I'm struggling here. I need a little help. So I guess you have to treat, and that's why the 5 love languages that you're going to talk about, that's why that's so important. So you'll know which one of your children or child adults need what and how to love them and how to parent them, because the other one may not need all of that, but one will need all of that. So,
and when you discover that, you realize sometimes it's not that our children are not being responsible. It's just that they have not gotten to a place where they're earning what they need to earn. And so sometimes in those instances, it's good. I'll help out. I'll help with the insurance. I'll help because you're in school or you're still going up the pay grade.
In my case, that's exactly what's happening. He's in school, he's working 2 jobs, and sometimes, you know, you don't want to keep denying yourself, because I don't want them to grow with a poverty mentality, and it is a mentality.
It is.
You know, it's not about how much money you have, it's your mentality and how you think about how much money you have. So I just want them to know that. Yeah.
And good parents do. All good parents do. We just have to learn and develop the skill, the general skill and the overall principles, but then we've got to apply them to the specific situations that we encounter when it comes to our children.
And we have to pass on what we learn when we're taking these financial workshops, when we're taking relationship workshops, when we're hearing about a relationship issue. Maybe it's not yours yet. But you know, sometimes if you live long enough, it may be yours, and it may not be your child. Maybe it's your niece, maybe it's a next door neighbor. That's why it's so important to share information, share knowledge. And then just to tie all of this in, part of the parenting aspects and troubles that I see when it comes to parents and teenagers has to do with relationships. They want to date people that we don't think are acceptable. Oh my goodness. But there's a reason why. Okay, so you know what? I need to take a break, because I know if we go down that street, get off on that exit, it's going to take more time than we have prior to the break. So when we come back, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about the reasons why our young people want to date people that we don't approve of.
Ooh-wee. And do they need our approval? We'll be right back in just a moment, everybody. Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
So we're
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Ativa and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org. This hard, graduating can be even harder, but you can help David and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me.
I think it might be one of the monitors.
Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did? Are you on your way to the mall? Lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
If you all could hear our conversations during the break, it's almost like another show is developing when we take a break. Instead of enjoying the break, he and I are talking. So we left them with the cliffhanger. What do you do when your young person is dating someone you don't particularly care for?
And why does that happen?
Yeah.
It happens because, again, when they are at that particular stage of learning about life, learning about themselves, sometimes the best way to discover is through exploration. A lot of our children are curious. A lot of them like to get into certain things simply because they're exploring.
Yeah.
And that's how we learn. We learn through experimentation. We learn through, not just through explanation, but we learn through actually getting in, feeling it, touching it, experiencing it. We learn all of those different things, and because of that, our children are doing the same thing. They want to learn, what is it that I do like?
Yeah.
Because their first introduction to what they are attracted to is mom.
Yeah, or dad.
Or dad, yes.
Yeah.
And so once they get that, now it's like, okay, there are other people who are out there. I know I love mom, I know I love dad, but what about this? This is totally opposite of what I see at home. And so many times their first, quote, love tends to be this person that seem like they are anti-value, anti-McNary.
So not